Hey everybody, welcome back to the Inside the Ropes YouTube channel, and I am joined by Mr. Wrestlecrap himself, RD Reynolds. RD, we have never spoken before on air, which is very strange.
It is, yeah. I just did a thing with Joel Gertner, and Joel and I had hung out many times, and he and I had never spoken before like this,
Mhm.
recording and all that before. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. Also, I you had mentioned I'm Mr. Russell Crap. I appreciate you calling me RD Reynolds, my God-given name, because one time many years ago, I was going to be on a radio, and dating myself here, and there was an old woman that I was calling in, and she was the receptionist at the radio station.
Uh-huh.
And I said, "Yeah, this is RD Reynolds from Wrestlecrap," and she's like, "What? Your name's Russell Crap?" And I was like, it wasn't before, but yes, I am now Russell Crap. That is my new name.
That's a
So
great name. We should
absolutely.
change all your socials to Russell Crap.
I think
Um,
I might.
but yeah, because we've messaged over the years, and we've always tried to
Sure.
like talk. It's just never happened. But I thought, why not? You're doing the 12 days of crap right now. Tell people about the 12 days of crap.
Yeah, we're doing a special event at wrestlecrap.com. And we're doing additional inductions, which are our signature pieces where we find something in wrestling that didn't go quite the way it should have. And then we do write-ups on those. Also doing interviews with people. Have had Vince Russo on, have had Joel Gertner on. Actually going to be doing one later this week with Matthew from Botchamania. So that should all be a lot of fun, and just getting people's, you know, uh, I always ask the same thing. When did you first hear of Wrestlecrap? Because it was just some silly site that I started. It was designed just to make a few of my friends laugh, and I guess it had a little more impact than what I had originally scoped out.
Just a bit. And today I get to interview you and talk about your experiences. But I will just say, for me, I remember getting the internet in like 1999, and I remember the first ever like spoilers I saw were for the first SmackDown where Shawn Michaels turned on The Rock, and it was that around that time.
Yeah.
WrestleCrap was one of the first sites that I saw on the internet, and it was ever since. It's basically to talk about the crap in wrestling. I did want to
Yeah.
ask you actually. Vince Russo is someone you're speaking to as part of the 12 Days of Crap. And for
Yeah.
people who don't know, I mean, Vince Russo basically, I mean, he must take up half the inductions on WrestleCrap with some of the stuff that he's done. And he's someone who is not, from what I've seen, not maybe the most open to criticism or whatever. So how have you managed it that he is okay talking to you?
He has told me that he's okay with talking with me because I am the most unhateable person he's ever met. And I don't even really know what that means. But it was something, actually, the way it started with Russo is I had a podcast, even before podcasts were what they were called, just an internet radio show I did with the late, great Blade Braxton. And he and I, somehow I was able to get Russo. Actually, I remember Russo and we both wrote books for a company called ECW Press. And so ECW Press, I went to him and I said, any chance I can get Vince Russo on for an interview? And amazingly, he agreed to it. And so I told Blade, I said, okay, this is what we're going to do on this Russo interview. We absolutely positively will not talk pro wrestling, period. Just don't do it. I said, if he tries to go that direction, steer away from it. We're not going to talk any wrestling at all. And it was kind of a Russo swerve kind of thing we were doing to him. And so we got him on. We talked to him. Hey, our favorite question was always, what's your favorite breakfast cereal? And so we would talk to him about anything but wrestling. Somehow it wound up going into, Batman 66 and all these other things. But yeah, the first interview we talked no wrestling. That was our goal. And he was just like, okay, when are you guys going to start asking us about the stuff? Like, we don't care. Let's talk about something else. And I think at that point he saw, okay, these guys are, trying to be funny and everything else, but they're not being rude or anything. And then, yeah, we wound up being pretty good friends. So yeah, absolutely. He made the Christmas card list.
Wow.
So
You
Yeah.
managed to disarm Vince Russo. That should go in your resume. But you know,
No,
so
like I can get him. I can probably get him to talk about like anything. And yeah, I always say thank you so much for all the material over the years. Maybe he appreciates that.
yeah, I mean, he really has helped Wrestlecrap a lot with the amount of material he's given it. So with it being 12 days of crap, obviously Christmas is coming up. Wrestling has had its fair share of crap during the festive period. I mean, Santa Claus has got to be up there with one of the dumbest ideas in wrestling history. I mean, it's got a shelf life of 2 weeks.
Right. Exactly. Well, like if you wanted to be, let's say he had gotten really over, and then like middle of May, people still hate this guy. But yeah, I mean, that was what I always said. I think I wrote that in the first induction. This has no shelf life whatsoever. But yeah, you had that. You had Santa Claus. You had the amazing Hulk Hogan movie Santa with Muscles was also a famous
I was
bit
going to
of
ask you about
Christmas
that
crap.
because so Hulk Hogan was my favorite wrestler as a kid, right? Now, obviously, today that's not as popular a stance as it was years ago, but I have never been able to make it through Santa with Muscles, and every year I try, and I think I've got to 40 minutes at one point. I thought I can't do it. I can't. What? It's something about it. I can't get through it.
I sat down to watch it with my wife and a buddy of mine. They both checked out within like, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes. I actually, it's been years since I watched it, but last year, for whatever reason, I was like, wait, they have this on Blu-ray now? I get to experience this in 1080p or 4K or whatever it is. It's like, yeah, I gotta be on board with that. So this will be the year that I actually break it open and look at the Blu-ray of it.
Wrestlecrap is a very educational thing because without Wrestlecrap, I would never have known that Hulk Hogan and Grace Jones made a movie together in 1998, Mackenzie's Island. So
yeah,
my question would be, which one's worse? What's a worse movie, Santa with Muscles or Mackenzie's Island?
oh boy. I mean, you're leaving out other Hogan schlock fests as well. So that's a very tough call. I still think Three Ninjas on Mega Mountain may be the worst. And I say that as I never want to blaspheme Aunt Lonnie Anderson or anything, but come on, that was not good. He had that wacky toupee or whatever. He had that toupee on Nitro for like a week or two, and it was like, wow, that's just an amazing heel look.
Who knew that Suburban Commando was going to be like his peak of making movies? So that's a real sign.
Yeah, well, actually, I think Rocky 3 was his peak of making movies, which I still think is one of his best matches ever. So yeah,
for sure.
Also one of Rocky's best fights, and Rocky had a lot of good fights. So.
Well, I mean, there's 12 days of crap, loads of stuff going on at wrestlecrap.com. People should go over and check it out. Before I let you go, I know it might be hard to narrow it down. And obviously, you've got the Gooker Award every year, so maybe it's an obvious answer. But if somebody just stopped you in the street and said, right, what's your favorite WrestleCrap induction ever? Go. Is there an obvious answer?
Man, the funny thing is there have been so many.
Or is there a few that kind of spring to your mind?
Oh, the ones that spring to my mind. For some reason, 7 from WCW always springs to my mind. Speaking of Russo, just because it was one of my favorite lines that I ever wrote, was Russo did not do 7. That was before him. He was not involved with it. And I noted that in the induction, and I said, for sure, you can tell this wasn't Russo's handiwork, because if it was, there was a horse that looked in a child's window in those vignettes, and they called it the pale horse. It's a biblical term, but I said if Russo would have done it, that horse would have for sure been called the baloney pony. So that's the one that always sticks in my mind.
Well, look, there's what a smorgasbord of stuff that there is from WrestleCrap. Listen, I wish you all the best for 12 days of crap and a good festive season as well.
Absolutely, to you as well, and to everybody out there.
pulls Edge into the office while I'm in there, and he says, "Okay, Edge, we're gonna have a Judgment Day. We're gonna have a hair versus hair match. You versus Angle, and I want Angle to go over by tap out, and he's gonna shave your head." And Edge's face just went